And welcome to another episode of South Texas Crossfire. This is Attorney Joe Flores reminding you to join us each and every week right here on KTMV with the Lopez family. Special thanks to Don Humberto celebrating over 50 years of broadcasting, and my good friend Carlos Lopez. Remember the Ted Turner of South Texas Broadcasting, and our sponsors. Don't forget River City Hospice and Vasquez Flores Home Health. And I have the distinct pleasure of bringing on yet another city councilwoman that's defending the championship. Priscilla Leal, welcome. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me here with you today.
Well, it's an honor to have you. And let me tell you, you represent a very important area, and that is District 3, correct?
That's correct.
And what does District 3 encompass?
Well, the District 3 encompasses from Airline all the way down to Clarkwood. It's through the middle of the city. I represent 7 high schools and the children throughout the city.
Well, and I think a lot of people really want to educate themselves, not only on the politics, but on the person. And Councilwoman Leal, you have been born and raised here. Tell us a little bit about your background and where you grew up.
I grew up by the old police station on Brownlee and Buffalo Streets. I have my 99-year-old mother right now that's on her deathbed.
I'm so sorry.
So my sisters and I have been, there with my mother. I am the granddaughter of Jose Alberto Gonzalez. He was the first that dug the first artesian wells here in Corpus Christi and throughout the area. I graduated from Miller High School. I have 4 sisters. Actually, I lost one of my sisters, so we were 5 girls. I have my 1 daughter, 2 sons. And I have 4 grandchildren, and they all live here. I have a grandson serving our military in Bahrain right now.
Well, our prayers are with him and your mother, especially now this Mother's Day, and I know that it is never an easy time, and that's why we promote a lot of the nursing care and hospice, because it's so important, especially for Hispanic families.
Exactly.
So, I really, all of us here at South Texas Crossfire have her in our prayers.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now, we know about a little bit about where you grew up and everything, but as far as your, educational background, profession, your career, what has been going on with Councilwoman Leal for many years?
Well, I graduated from Miller High School. I took many of courses, shorthand, etc., at Del Mar. Plus, I started some classes there. And I do have some college background. I retired from the city, 20-year employee from the utility department.
Oh, utilities.
Yes, I was an executive secretary within the city.
And as far as what motivated you to get into, and it's a tremendous responsibility, what gives you the passion to serve in District 3?
Well, before I went to work for the city, I used to work for Driscoll Children's Hospital, which right after high school. And I saw many children and a lot of parents, it was so sad, having their children so sick and everything. So what happened was they wanted to open a shelter for recently released sex offenders next to South Park and Lexington Elementary, which is my neighborhood. And I went throughout the city to see how many schools and children this might affect, and I found that there was 18 CCISD schools and over 22,000 children that may be affected by putting those people, well, I hate to say those people, but them there along the side of our children. And I said no.
Well, and let me ask you, let's zoom in on that. Why would they want to put up, shelter or housing for sex offenders? Doesn't that conflict with state laws and everything? Well, now, but at the time, did it conflict? I mean, what made you stand up for that issue? At
the time, I told my neighbors, and we put them all together, and we said, well, we need to fight this because this isn't right for our children. And so we did that, and we actually won. They were not allowed to open that. But since then, and I tell my neighbors, because of our efforts and having done this, we now do have a state law, whereas none of those shelters can be open anywhere near any child, not only in Corpus, but throughout the state of Texas.
Well, that must have been a great time but challenging when you take on, they say you can't fight City Hall. And you fought it.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah.
So that is really, and I think a lot of voters want to hear about stories like that. And so after that point, did you make the decision to say, I want to get into politics and run and serve. You know, you have to go through all that and the politics and the mudslinging and all that and try to stay positive. And then when you get up there and serve, you're still under a lot of scrutiny. Every time you vote, it's a lot of pressure, isn't it?
Right, yes. No, but I wanted to be there for the protection of our children. Because they had said that it was a good economic development, and I said, not our children. So I said, I need to be there to protect our children throughout the city.
Well,
and my neighborhood,
yeah,
especially.
And let me tell you, the area that you represent, a lot of people don't understand. It's the west side, but also part of the south side. Tell us about your experiences representing that part of the city as well.
Well, the south side also has a lot of needs. In fact, I just got a call this morning, you know, on some people that are concerned about some of the homes that are empty, whereas they've had a lot of problems with the homelessness. People that are going into the homes and there's nobody there to protect them, but I did talk to the police and they're going to be making rounds through there. I also talked to the Neighborhood Services Department to go check it out, because some of these places they're living like in a garage it's just a garage. You know, it's not living conditions for anybody. And
a lot of people, you know, don't know how to contact their council person. What's the best number to contact you at? And we'll be putting it up throughout or if they want to help on your campaign.
Okay. It's 361-537-1746.
And they can contact you. That sounds like a direct number.
Yes, that's my cell number.
As my dad used to say, ¿por qué vas a las ramas cuando puedes ir al tronco? Right to the root of it. Go right there and contact that person. So when they call, they can get a hold of you, their council person.
Yes, unless I'm in a meeting or like right now, like with my mother or something, you know, I have to turn my phones off. But I do return calls. And I am a visual person, so whenever somebody calls me, I usually say, oh, where can I meet you? Can I go to your house? I'd like to come and see, you know, the problem.
Well, you've had overwhelming support in the district, and I think a lot of people identify with that, and they want their representatives to be reflective of who they are. And truth be told, you grew up there on Brownlee. And where was it, Brownlee?
Brownlee, and it was actually Culberson Street.
But it changed?
No, that was the name of the street, but most of it's gone because the freeway 37 took us out. So then we moved over by Cunningham Junior High.
Well, let me tell you this, like some of the community involvement, people want to know, are there, you know, leaders? People don't know exactly what the council people do, so we're going to zoom in on that here in a minute. Okay. But tell me about some of the activities you do with the community to stay in touch with your constituents.
Well, I normally have several people throughout my district, and I keep in touch with them as to what's going on. Like here recently, you know, we had the West Oso Molina is in my district, and I went to Austin. I went to their games, and it was so awesome. It's so exciting, you know, to see that portion of sports coming back to Corpus.
Well, and let me tell you, I have a former legal assistant of mine, Jennifer Garza Rios. She was one of the best legal assistants I ever had, and she's also teaching. So I've gone to speak to her classes at West Oso. That's a great school. I mean, it's a beautiful high school and wonderful kids. Right.
Well, a part of what you know, because like I said, I do have a big area to cover, but I fought for them to fix Bear Lane. Because you know, they have a brand new high school, and they have ditches and everything. I wanted to have them to have sidewalks, curbs and gutters, you know, just like every school in town.
Exactly.
And they're going to be starting that pretty soon.
Well, and tell me maybe, I guess what best defines who Priscilla Leal is as far as your Councilwoman District 3. Tell me about at least one, I'm sure there have been many, but something that comes to the forefront of your mind about doing something that made a difference. Like you talked about the schools and protecting children from the sex offenders that you did. But as a councilwoman, is there one story or is there one person that really reaches out at this moment that you say, you know what, that's why I became a councilwoman?
Well, one of the other reasons that I also ran was because there was money to fix the drainage problems in my neighborhood. It's called the ABC Streets. I live on Sherrill Drive. And we found that for 30 years, money had been sent by the federal government to fix our drainage, and that money had never reached us. But I came in contact with some people where they were having meetings, and I found out that they were still wanting to move that money. I went to my neighbors and I told them, look, the federal government sends some money to fix our drainage, and we need to fight for that money. And I said we need to address City Hall and make sure that we get that money to fix it. So we did. I had, I'm going to say, between 400 and 500 people that went with me to City Hall, and I asked them, you don't have to speak, I will address it myself. And this happened way back in 2001. Long before I even thought of running for city council. But my neighbors, it's because of my neighbors and myself, you know, that we're fixing all our drainage in my neighborhood.
Well, let me
it's taken 10 years, but
well,
it's fixing it.
Well, you have, you know, you live right there, your neighbors. A lot of people say, you know, we got a minute before the break, but a lot of people say, you know, my leaders or the people that are representing me, they're out of touch. They're never there. I mean, what do you tell people like that say, my vote doesn't matter? Whether I go out for city elections or not or vote, it just doesn't matter, because traditionally we have a low voter turnout in the west side, not as much during presidential elections, but in the last 30 seconds before we take our break, what would you tell those people that say, my vote doesn't count?
Well, your vote does count, you know, because in order for me to stay in office, in order for me to help the people, in order for me to help and be there for you, I need the vote. Without the vote, I can't stay in.
And they don't have their voice.
And they don't have a voice, exactly. And sometimes, you know, some people say, well, you know, maybe she helped on this, but, you know, we didn't get this. But, you know, I've been there. I've been there to help the people and throughout my district, actually.
Well, we're going to take a brief break. You're listening to the interview and watching the interview with Councilwoman Priscilla Leal, District 3, here in City Council, seeking your vote for a third term?
A third term.
A third term. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some hard-hitting issues that affect not only the west side, the south side, but our community in general when we come back.
The justice system for those who want to take on insurance companies or big business has become difficult in Texas. Unfair tort reform laws have closed the courthouse doors to the most vulnerable in our society, including the elderly and children. You need competent legal representation when it comes to serious accidents and if you have suffered harm from a drug product or medical device. Joe Flores can help. Backed by 20 years as a medical professional and as a trial lawyer, Joe Flores can evaluate your claim. The law offices of Joe Flores, equal justice for all.